Do you want to know more about women empowerment?
Good morning. Welcome to this week's edition of
Hey,
W
how's
Talk.
it going? This is Tracks Momentum with me, Deanna, on the Friday edition.
Good morning and welcome to W Talk. Right, Women Talk.
Welcome back to W Talk. It's calling you in the studios of TRAXXfm.
Tune in to W Talk every Fridays from 11:15 to 11:45 a.m. only on TRAXXfm.
Unwind from the traffic in Kuala Lumpur.
Feast your ears to soothing music on your favorite station.
TRAXXfm 90.3 Kuala Lumpur.
Hi, good morning. This is TRAXXfm. It's Trax Momentum and time for Women's Talk right here on TRAXXfm. Our guest is Syarnissa Ahmad Dahuri. We're talking about daring to dream the impossible, and she's somebody who's going to change a lot of minds by the end of this interview, I tell you, right? First of all, we'd like to welcome you, Syarnissa. Welcome to the studios of Trax. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for having me.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. There you go. So, how do you start your day? What's a day like for you normally?
Oh, normally I just get up and I just right away get on my email and, just look at everything and start to plan my day. Just look at the to-do list. Sometimes I add a couple of things that I would like to, fulfill in the day, throughout the day. And and get on with the plan.
Right? And how many things do you achieve every day? Do you achieve something? You get closer to whatever it is you're achieving, you're trying to achieve?
Well, that's the beauty about achieving and success in general, Greenman. I would say it's very subjective, and at the end of the day, it's how you define achievement. Mm-hmm. And for me, sometimes there are days when I get to, attend 6 meetings, and that's a fantastic accomplishment, I would say.
Meetings.
But there are also days when I just, go to the hospital and just be with my superpower and try to comprehend my next reality, and that's also an accomplishment, because everything is very subjective and it depends on how we look at it, how we appraise. Everything is about appraisal exercise, really is.
Right. Well, 3 superpowers, as you call them.
Yeah,
and you want to tell us about these 3 superpowers?
Oh yes. So it's first of all I just want to share that this is my first time being on air for a radio interview, and I want to make sure that I get this really, really clear, that I am drowning in gratitude to be given the opportunity to be Syarnissa Ahmad Dahuri, to be given the opportunity to have 3 superpowers. And the first one is bilateral congenital glaucoma. It is an eye disease which has caused my left eye to be completely blind since I was born. My right eye, the best vision that I had as a little girl was around 15 to 20% max. So I've always been this legally blind person since day one. And right now, as we speak, I am over 95% blind. So I only have around 2 to 3% left. And the second superpower is I was born with spina bifida. It's the malformation of the spine. So basically part of my spinal cord grows outside of the body. And the third superpower is I was born with a weak pair of lungs. And these are all incredible things that have shaped the way I think, the way I live, and the way I define life, the way I look at life, and the way I look at everything around me, including achievement, obstacles, and opportunities.
Right. And speaking of some of your achievements, we'll get to all those that you talked about, but you were awarded a full ride scholarship to pursue a fast-track professional accounting degree at Queensland University of Technology, Australia. Currently, you're working at your dream organization, Shell Group Strategy, as a special projects advisor, and you're an aspiring strategist with a deep passion for the future of energy, particularly the hydrogen economy, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion. Very quickly, what's all that about?
Wow, it's, when we talk about strategy, I really I really love thinking. I really love mindset shift, paradigm shift. I really love how to get people to think differently. So right now we are very big, the world is very big on, the transition to this net zero world, the net zero future, right? And also another thing that's also very, very big in the world today is how to get people to thrive just the way they are, and that's all about diversity, equity, and inclusivity. So these are my two favorite topics at the moment, just to be a part of the solution and how we can drive the world towards this Paris compliant future, and also basically just how to get more and more people to be comfortable in being themselves, to embrace their uniqueness, and to also inspire others to accept and to embrace other people as well who are different than what we're used to, than what societies call standards and success, or the things which everybody so, I would say, normalize. People just feel that there's always a certain way of achieving and being successful. I just want people to start believing that there are more than one things to pursue, and there are more than one things to be referred to as success.
Correct. So it's absolutely wrong when you tell a young one, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they say, I want to be a doctor or something like that. And it just remains as that, right? It should be like, I want to be everything. I want to be this. I want to be that. I want to be a singer. I want to be that. And I want to do everything.
Exactly.
Right? And let them dream, right?
Yeah.
And you're somebody who sees and you look at qualities of a person and that's what you like. And bringing out the best in somebody, and right? And getting them to recognize that kind of thing. Do you find it to be something that's lacking in a large portion of our society?
Yes, I believe so too. And I think partly it's, I always believe that when we want to accomplish something, it's never about a group of people that try to pursue a cause, but it's always everybody has to come together and really make it happen. For me, for example, when we speak about diversity and inclusion, when we speak about the disability agenda, for example, my superpowers, for example, there are people out there who are more than willing to give people with disabilities opportunities, right? But if we, as people who are given the superpowers and uniqueness, are not ready to stand in the light and be seen as we are, then it's not gonna change a thing. So everybody has to come together. It starts with myself, it starts with yourself, and it starts with the rest of the community. It's a collective effort, and we're going to achieve great things together if we just believe in that one objective and believe that everybody is destined for greatness, regardless of who they are and whatever that they were born with or without.
All right. Okay, I'm going to move on to some of Catherine's questions over here. Born with bilateral congenital glaucoma, can you share a little bit about your childhood and how did you explore Braille?
Wow, I had an amazing childhood. I would say I spent most of my time at the hospital, really, because I've been through hundreds of surgeries and medical procedures all my life. And the prognosis for my case at the time was of course not fantastic, right? When we talk about uncertainties, like it's very common these days. We talk about uncertainties. Everything around us is uncertain, right? The job that we have, the health that we have, right? Everything is just very uncertain. But it reminds me, when we talk about uncertainty, it reminds me a lot about my childhood, because I was given the privilege to live with uncertainty from day one of my life. So I think at the age of 5 or 4, I began to understand that, I was going to go blind and I was going to go paralyzed waist down from such an early age, right? And can you imagine, I barely started kindy at that time, right? And being told that, you're already in your final stage of your eye disease. We don't know when you're going to go blind. We don't know when you're going to go paralyzed waist down because of spina bifida. What would you do, right? In that under such circumstances, right? So it's very scary. It's very daunting. Sometimes a part of me would probably just wanted to, stay home and be safe and just live with my day-to-day life and succumb to whatever that was destined for me, succumb to what society has predicted, what science predicted, what people believe should be the norm and should be the trajectory of my future. But I was very, very lucky to be born into a family where everybody believed in me at that time, and even until this very day. My parents are just amazing. My sister, my elder sister, my younger brother, they're just so amazing. My friends, my teachers, my lecturers, my team of doctors at the hospital, the organizations that I've been in. I would say that, everybody from the start of my childhood, everybody just believed in the craziness that I had about life. So from a very young age, I never stopped myself from going all out. So, the norm is that you shouldn't go to a normal public school, you should go to a special school. But I made sure that didn't happen. I went to a normal public school from the get-go, all the way until I completed my Form 5. I scored straight A's in most of my examination. And then after that, I just, got a full ride scholarship, and I went off to Australia and did accountancy while being legally blind. I participated, when I was in high school and primary school, I participated in all sorts of competitions, be it singing, dancing, running a marathon. I just didn't limit myself because, I just saw life just like how everybody else saw life. I couldn't see very well, but, other parts of me are just, great. I can listen, I can think, I can speak, I can run, even though sometimes I run in a different direction. But
right.
But it's, it's a beautiful childhood. I loved it. And when we talk about Braille, I did have, I did take some lessons learning Braille. But that's the thing about me that everybody has to know is that, to be born with superpowers and to have to overcome, different kinds of struggles throughout my life, it really takes a different level of courage. And I would sometimes call myself as a very stubborn person as well, to be where I am today. I have to overcome stigmas. I have to overcome 1,000 of no's from people. Sometimes, in hundreds of applications, I only got one yes, right? So it's not easy. So I did explore Braille, of course, but I look at Braille as an option instead of a decision. And I believe that whether you are, you are visually impaired or you have, different kinds of physical challenges, it's never I don't see as that one solution would be the only way to it all. I'm very, 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 very comfortable using the screen reader. For example, I'm using JAWS, which is a type of screen reader that my company shall purchase for me so that I can do my day-to-day work. So it's always what we are most comfortable with when it comes to technology. I'm still a student of Braille, I would say. I'm not the best representative when it comes to mastering Braille yet, I would say, maybe someday. But I look at it as a foundation. And, when it comes to technology and innovation, it always evolves. And I believe that greater things are going to come in that space.
Forget Braille. You're a great representative of greatness. And that's a lot better than Braille, okay? And I can't even begin to imagine what you were talking about when you were young, having to go through all that. And many of us will not be able to imagine that. But I sit in awe here listening to you and with the spirit that you have and, how you've actually overcome a lot of your challenges, and a lot of people you said took to you and they were very encouraging. Is that because of the kind of personality that exuded from you?
I'm not sure why, but I think it's it's always about energy. And I have to tell you this, and this is I did not even share with the producer yesterday. Only 3 days ago, every January I have to go to the hospital. Well, I go to the hospital all the time for my checkup, but normally in January I would look at the percentages of my eye, what is going on, what's the latest status, right? And only 3 days ago, there's the drop, right? There's the drop. So I have to say that one of the beauty about my superpower, being a glaucoma patient, is that I was not born blind completely. I was born with, some percentage of eyesight, and I have to learn to gradually say goodbye to it from time to time because it deteriorates with time. Why do I say it's beautiful? It's because it gives me the opportunity to be resilient beyond imagination. every single time I wake up, I would wave my hand like this, and how many fingers can I see and how much can I see? And I have to say, every single time there's a drop in my eye percentage. I'm not going to say that I'm jumping, yay, it's dropping, no, because I know that I'm closer, another step closer to saying goodbye to all these colors that I could see. And only 3 days ago, there's a drop, another permanent drop in my eyesight. But here I am 3 days later doing this interview. And I think that's what people really, probably the people who know me, I think that's the kind of thing that they really like, because it's actually what I believe, that when we meet another person and we really like that person, it's not at all about that person, but it's actually because that person reignites something within us already. So when I meet another person and they say, Nisa, you are an inspiration, or you are so positive, it has nothing to do with me, actually. I was just reigniting something that's already in them, right? Because everybody want to bounce back. Everybody want to stand strong after every fall. Everybody want to stand on top of a mountain and say, hey, this is me. This was how I was built, and I'm going to conquer the world. Everybody want to be able to say that over and over and over again.
Right.
And I think that's the reason why some of us might resonate with the things that I share. So it's a privilege. It's a privilege to meet people, to learn from people, and to also, in one way or another, reignite something that is already burning within others.
I like that. This morning's privilege belongs to me over here in the studios. And not being able to see, but what you see is a lot more than people with sight can see. And that's something a lot of us take for granted.
If I may interject a little bit, I would like to say this. And I really hope there are listeners who are, who can resonate with the superpowers that I have, whether it's the lungs, whether it's the spine, whether it's the eyes. The solution for blindness is not sight, it's strength.
Right.
The solution for blindness is not sight, it's strength. There are so many people who are sighted, but they don't know how to empathize. They don't know how to dream. They don't know how to believe. They don't know how to stand after every fall. So I would say that to those of us, because I met so many people who just lost their sight, and they felt like their world is crumbling down. If I can say it to them again and again and again, you are actually losing nothing. You're not losing anything at all. Because the cure, the solution for blindness is not sight, but it's strength. That willpower, that's going to move you forward. It's not going to be easy. And I have to tell you, and I have to tell every single one listening to this right now, that I am not always a positive person. When I went to the hospital 3 days ago with another drop in my eye percentage, I was very sad. But it requires a daily renewal. And the strength to keep going, the strength to put a step ahead of the other every single day, that's not going to go away if you want that for yourself.
Right. Don't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up, right?
Rocky Balboa.
Right? Get up and, get up, stand up, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. How did you feel when you first started your job, and how do you carry out the daily tasks at work?
Oh,
who's listening in? The company? Anybody at the company listening in right now?
I'm not sure.
Yeah?
I'm not sure, but I am just so grateful for Shell. I love Shell. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to join Shell since I was 10. So, of course, being with a multinational, it's pretty scary. I would say it's pretty daunting being the first, person with multiple disabilities in Shell Malaysia. I would say at the time I was very scared, and I believe that everybody who were in my shoes would also felt how I felt. It's scary, but I keep reminding myself of all the mountains that I have conquered in life. Mm-hmm. And that kind of moved me forward, right? I was afraid because I have to work differently than other people. I don't read like other people do, right? I use my ears to read instead of using my eyes. And I just want to be able to have, certain aura, or this corporate aura. I just had this persona that I wanted to imitate. But after a while I said, you know what, I just bring myself to work and I just be myself, and everything's gonna come together. And so
it's nice that they had faith in you.
yes, of course.
Right?
Yep.
I don't know what your position is. I mean, when you talk about your position at work, are you some kind of boss or something like that?
No.
Why are you not a boss? I'm absolutely serious. Why are you not a boss?
You don't have to be a boss to be a leader, to be a thought leader.
Well, you know, they need bosses that inspire people.
Everybody, I want to be a thought leader more than I would like to be a boss. And I would say that every single one of us, regardless of who we are in society, whether we are a student, we can already be a thought leader. We can spark something within society or wherever that we are. And I remember what my dad used to tell me, wherever you go, be the soul of that place. And that's exactly, what I tried when I was, studying in Australia, whether I was in school, whether I was giving, a presentation or a motivational talk, in front of, some orphans or some students or whoever they are. There's always an opportunity to lead. Lead doesn't mean that you are bossing people around or giving people instruction, but lead by bringing the best out of people.
Right.
And I'm doing that already. So, so it's pretty cool, I would say.
Right? I still say Shell should make you boss. Yeah. Are you on tour going around and inspiring people? Are you giving talks?
Yes, I do, and I love that. I really love it when I get, because I feel that at the end of the day, what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind, right? And you can only do so much in the capacity of the work that you do or the education that you have, whatever that's on paper. But at the end of the day, it's about how many lives you get to touch. And I am so lucky to be born with these superpowers, right? And there are so many other people out there who just cocooned by some situation which don't even warrant such anxiety or fear or stress, right? And I just want to go and reach out to as many people as possible, whether they are the elderly, the young ones, I don't know, but I just want people to begin to believe in themselves.
What do you feel is such a waste?
Such a waste.
Yeah. I mean, when you see a person and, if they're just not using what they have, the capacities, they're not going for it, and they actually think that because, I can't do this and I can't do that, and I'll just have to, like you said, cocoon myself. And
yeah, I would say it would be such a waste to look at others more than you look at yourself. I have fallen that trap one too many times growing up, I have to say, because especially when I'm always obliterating barriers. When people say, no, you don't do that, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So when you want to go against a current, against a wave, it's not going to be always smooth sailing, right? You're going to get rejections and all that. But and sometimes when you're falling in this trap, you would start to want to be somebody else so that you can get what you want, right? But I think that's such a waste, because the world will only learn to love you the way you first choose to learn to love yourself, the way you first choose to learn to look at yourself. So that's exactly what I have been learning through and through, is that I have to look at myself, believe in myself, love myself, and the world will follow suit. And that's exactly what I want every single one of us to do, is to start looking at ourselves more than others, more than the success of others, or more than what others have. Because the world is a different place without you or me. We, each and every single one of us, is a gift to the world. Believe in that, no matter who we are. No matter who we are. No matter how limited we feel. No matter how limited we feel, no matter how underprivileged we feel, there's something that the world is waiting for from us. Somebody out there is waiting to hear your story, because they are going to discover your dreams through the step, the action, the choice, the mindset that you choose to have in yourself today, right now. So start accepting yourself, love yourself, and be yourself every step of the way. And believe me, miracles are just waiting around.
You're going to experience it, right?
Of course.
Right. I used to worry about what to wear on my feet until I met a man with no feet. Right?
Yeah, of course.
What comes to mind when you think of anything that inspires you?
Well, what inspires me, I would say, is, the thing where people get to be the voice for other people. I think that inspires me, because there are so many, people out there who are just trying to go outside of their comfort zone, but they just don't know how. And to see people who want to walk that extra mile for other people, who actually go beyond themselves, I think that's inspiring. Because we these days, we are so caught up in our own ambition. We are so caught up in what we want to achieve, in how we are being perceived, right? While it's very important for us to be very confident, but we also have to do things purposefully. We have to have a purpose, right? Why do we want to acquire certain things? Why do we want to believe in ourselves so much? It's because of something greater. It's because we want to get others to also start achieving their dreams and achieving their goals. So when I look at people out there, for example, Oprah Winfrey, for example, Bill Gates, right? They have people who really just, they're the voice for other people. And that's exactly the kind of thing that really gets me off my feet. And I just really want to be that type of person.
Right. Arnold Schwarzenegger. You didn't mention Arnold along with Oprah. One of my favorite worst actors ever. Yeah? But, yeah, it's... I've got so many of Catherine's questions over here. Your biggest accomplishment to date?
Oh, my biggest accomplishment to date? Well, Well, I can always give you the highlights of my career, the highlights of my education, the highlights of everything. But I just want to say that my biggest accomplishment to date is to give a big fat yes to life every single day.
Yeah.
That is my biggest accomplishment. That is it.
That's right.
That is it. Because it is not easy. Right, especially when I'm very privileged to be with my obstacles every second of every day. Some people go through hardships probably like once a month or probably once in 2 months, but I get to be with my obstacles, my hardships every second of every day.
Right.
My own organs are going against me, right? So to be able to say, okay, this is me, this is what I'm going through, sometimes my eyes are just pushing outwards out of, the pain and all that. But I keep saying yes to life, no matter how scary, how painful, or how fearful I am. I keep saying that yes to life. And I think that's my biggest accomplishment to date.
Right. And you're talking about people who are just so caught up in the rat race, right? Whether you end up last or first, you're still a rat.
Yeah.
Right? In the rat race. So why do you want to go there, yeah? So, we're not looking at the things that really, really matter in life. Correct?
Correct.
And you've come to terms with a lot of things, and you've gone back to basics in that aspect over there. Like in nature, I suppose. Look at how we've disregarded nature. And we've put on so much with technology and buildings and all kinds of things that, look at the floods that happen.
Yeah.
They're happening all around the world. It's not just here in our country that it happens. It happens everywhere else where we've forgotten the basics of life. And is that a message you're trying to get out to people as well?
Yes, of course. And I feel like, at the end of the day, it's an opportunity. Innovation is something that's really big these days, right? And every single one of us has the opportunity to innovate. And when we talk about innovation, it's not just about technology, right? It's about making lives better. Mm-hmm. Making life, trying to make life easy and simple and different. Right? So that is an opportunity for everyone, whether you are a student, whether you are in the corporate, whether you are in the academics, whoever you are, there's always an opportunity to look at something that the world needs, right? Whether it's technology, whether it's a different way of working, a different way of thinking, a different way of doing things, whatever that may be. There's always an opportunity to innovate, and I would definitely, encourage everybody to put your innovation hat on and just get on with it and see how they can contribute.
You're never going to retire, are you? You're just going to keep doing what you do until you're gone, right? It's just going to be that way with you, right? What do you say to people who are retired and they still, so many people go to their graves with their best music still in them?
I would say that, for as long as you live, there's always something to give. There's always something to give. And for me personally, I believe that even a word of encouragement is a gift, right? It's a gift for others. And I would encourage that people don't ever feel, don't ever experience or settle for complacency. I would say that's my biggest enemy, complacency. I just don't like that. I get bored with things easily. I just always want to climb a different mountain. And I think I will be like that for the rest of my life.
Right.
And I would encourage people to just, even though they're done with work or whatever that we're doing before, always find a way to give back in whatever shape or form. Whether, you want to give a talk, whether you want to help to volunteer in your neighborhood, whatever that may be, but continue giving. Because giving, when you give to the world, you are actually receiving things which are beyond your imagination. So yeah, don't stop.
Right. You began the show talking about gratitude, and that's exactly what's engraved on my dad's tombstone. It actually says gratitude. Let me begin with gratitude. And he always began anything. If he gave speeches or anything like that, he would begin with, let me begin with gratitude.
Of course.
For being here and for being that,
Yeah.
And that's something that's very powerful as well, right?
Of course.
And well, talk to me about your parents and your sister and your brother. Who's your dad?
So my dad, he was with the government before, but he has retired. So now he's doing just some side business on his own. My mom has always been a housewife. So my mom came from a Pakistani descent.
Your mom's been working all her life.
Yes.
That's the reality.
That's the reality. And I have an elder sister, and she loves the show business. She's a fantastic actress. She's now in Singapore, and I have an amazing brother-in-law as well. He's very passionate about the property industry. He's amazing.
Right.
And I have a younger brother who is just very, very intelligent, and his deep passion is definitely for IT. And these are the people that, oh my God, I can't even, there's no word that could ever do justice to how much they have done for me. And I think the biggest thing that they've done for me is they just believe in me. For example, when I say, okay, so I got the scholarship, I'm going to go to Australia all by myself. Because at that time when I got the scholarship, my parents couldn't go with me because we didn't come from a well-off family, right? So when you got a scholarship, you go with the money, right? So it's my first time, taking the plane and everything. So
you went solo.
I went solo, and the beauty of my
you rock.
My family just believed in me, and they just said yes. And for example, I worked in Sarawak before for many years, and I just came back to KL for my new role, and they always. I'm sure that they're very concerned, and they always say they're very worried about me. But they know that I'm big for my dreams, and they know that I live for a bigger purpose. Because, like I said to you, I always believe that there are people who are waiting to hear our stories, right? So every action that I take, everything that I do, I know that somebody else wants to do the same, but they're just waiting for a role model. To be able to say to themselves that, oh, she did it, I can do it too. Because I don't believe in this sort of this narrative that people with visual impairment should be doing certain profession, or people who are not able to listen, they're not able to walk, they have to do certain types of jobs only. I don't really believe in that.
Right.
Or people who are good with people should go to HR. People who can speak should go to certain departments or organization. I believe that we can be, as long as it's not of course putting your health at expense, of course. you can be anything that you want to be. You can be anything that you want to be. So that's exactly the mantra that I've been living, throughout my life. I want to conquer the heights that were not conquered before, not the norm. So being in the corporate, getting the scholarship, going to normal public school, I just want others to also feel that they can walk the world just like everybody else can. So that's exactly what I've been trying to do. And my family is behind it. They're rocking it every single time. They're saying yes to all of my crazy dreams and wishes, and yeah.
Where's your crazy dream going to take you next?
Oh, wow. I just want to, now that I'm back in KL, I just want to reach out to as many people as possible. I want to continue with, doing my part-time motivational talk and, just reach out to as many kids as I can. I just want people to start. I want to have this movement where people are just, so excited about being themselves. I want people to feel honored to be themselves, to feel not just grateful, but they're just excited to show the world who they are, regardless of how they were born with or without. Right? So that's my big dream. I want to create this movement. I don't know how yet, but
what would you call it?
I don't know.
People.
I'll think about one. I'll think about a title, but oh my God, I don't know, probably like lift to lift. I don't know, like you live to lift others up. I don't know, because I feel like there's just so much disagreements and differences in the world. Imagine if everybody just want every single person to succeed and every single person to live their best life. Isn't that going to be like a beautiful world?
You're going to write a book, are you? No?
Oh, God. So many people have been asking me to write a book, but it's just not yet.
I won't ask you to just write a book. I'll give you a title.
Okay.
Pooper's Cooper. Because of all that garbage that people keep dumping in your mind and telling you how you won't be able to do something, right?
Yeah.
And to just remove all that, garbage.
And I think, for example, fear is just a thing, right? Fear is just like my cane here, or like a glass. Like you can just look at it and, just like that. But the thing about fear is that we entertain them, so it's also just like a thought, right? A thought is just a thought until we label it, right? For example, this is a cane. But when I start saying that, this cane is too long, that's the thought that I have, right? So everything is basically neutral until you start labeling it. So people have to redefine the way they think, and they have to not give so much credits to the thoughts that they have in their mind. They have to start thinking differently, and to not be so cocooned by their thoughts, to not be manipulated by their thoughts, to not be overruled by their thoughts, and they have that power.
Right. Oh, I like that. You think you've inspired anybody today with this talk?
I hope so. Well, at least you or...
I'll answer that for you. Yes, you have. You absolutely have. Not only people in the studios here, in the producer's booth, but a whole lot of people out there, And I want to say thank you for all those voices who are saying, wow, this lady this morning on the show, that's the kind of, guest we want to listen to. That's the kind of person who can make a difference. And there could be family members out there who might, have to support somebody else out there. And they might have an idea now how they can actually play a better role. And we thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Oh, we're going to have to, stop over here.
Okay.
That's that dreaded word over here. I know what they're saying over there. The listeners are going to say, I'll shoot you, man, for stopping her. All right? Go on. Say what you want to say in a minute.
Oh, wow. To whoever that's listening, I just want you to know that you are a gift. You are a gift just the way you are. You have so much depth. You have so much potential. So you have so many things that you've yet to discover within yourself. So don't just stop. Don't just stop, regardless of whatever that you are going through at the moment. Better days are going to come. Better days are going to come, but you need to first take that step. Take that step, change the way you think, and the rest is going to just, come knocking at your doorstep. Believe in yourself.
Syarnissa Ahmad Dahuri.
Thank you.
That's not the last time you're going to hear that name. And we thank you for being here and for the gift of your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
And for sharing your gifts with us this morning on TRAXXfm.
Thank you.
Do you want to know more about women empowerment?
Good morning. Welcome to this week's edition of
Hey,
W
how's
Talk.
it going? This is Trax Momentum with me, Deanna, on the Friday edition.
Good morning and welcome to W Talk. Right, Women Talk.
Welcome back to W Talk. It's calling you in the studios of TRAXXfm.
Tune in to W Talk every Fridays from 11:15 to 11:45 a.m. only on TRAXXfm.